Join me as I dive into the incredible true story of Ahimelech and see if I can uncover all the fascinating details you never knew. Ahimelech is a name that might not ring a bell for many of us, but his story is deeply intertwined with one of the most famous tales in the Bible, the story of David. He was a priest in the town of Nob, and his life took a dramatic turn when David, who was on the run from King Saul, came to him seeking help. This was a time when David was at the peak of his fleeing, having just defeated Goliath and gaining massive popularity among the Israelites, which understandably threatened Saul's reign. What makes Ahimelech's story significant is the difficult choices he had to make under pressure. As a priest, he had a duty to follow God's laws and commands, but he also had to ensure the safety of his family and community. When David arrived, Ahimelech was faced with a tough decision: help a fugitive who was clearly in danger, or turn him away and possibly condemn him to death. The community of priests in Nob was small, and Ahimelech's actions would have far-reaching consequences, not just for him, but for all the priests and their families. This responsibility weighed heavily on him, and his choice would ultimately define his legacy. The central challenge Ahimelech faced was when King Saul sought to eliminate David. Saul was becoming increasingly paranoid and violent in his pursuit of David, and Ahimelech's decision to help David was, in essence, a direct confrontation with Saul's wrath. By giving David food and the sword of Goliath, Ahimelech was putting his own life and the lives of his fellow priests at risk. The implications of his actions were severe. If caught, it wouldn't just be his life on the line, but the lives of all the priests in Nob. Saul saw Ahimelech's actions as a betrayal, not just of him, but of God himself. This perception was rooted in his belief that he was divinely appointed to rule, and any opposition to him was seen as opposition to God. The priests of Nob were devoted to serving God through their rituals and sacrifices, and Ahimelech's assistance to David was done under the understanding that he was aiding the future king anointed by God. However, the line between obeying God's will and obeying the king was often blurred, and Ahimelech's actions had to navigate this complex moral landscape. The political climate was volatile, with Saul's regime becoming more tyrannical by the day. Ahimelech's decision to help David was a courageous act that stood in direct opposition to Saul's desires. Delving into the details of Ahimelech's story, it's clear that his decision to help David wasn't taken lightly. He provided David with food and the sword of Goliath, which David had left behind. This act of kindness was crucial for David's survival, as it equipped him to continue his journey. However, it also put Ahimelech in a precarious position, exposing him and his fellow priests to Saul's vengeance. The consequences of Ahimelech's choice were devastating. When Saul found out, he summoned Ahimelech and accused him of conspiring against him. The confrontation was intense, with Saul portraying Ahimelech's actions as treasonous. Despite Ahimelech's attempts to justify his actions based on his understanding of God's will, Saul was unmoved. The broader historical and religious context of Ahimelech's story highlights the ongoing struggle between those who sought to follow God's laws and those who sought power and control. The story of Ahimelech serves as a testament to the sacrifices made by those who stood by their principles, even when it meant facing severe repercussions. The dramatic moment when Saul discovers Ahimelech's assistance to David leads to a pivotal confrontation. Saul's reaction was brutal, and he ordered his guards to kill Ahimelech and the priests. When his guards refused, citing their loyalty to the priests, Saul turned to another man, Doeg, who carried out the horrific task, killing 85 priests. The tragedy didn't end there. Saul also sent men to destroy Nob, the town of the priests, resulting in the death of men, women, children, and even the livestock. Summarizing the key points of Ahimelech's story, we're reminded of the themes of loyalty, sacrifice, and the impact of choices in the face of danger. Ahimelech's story, though lesser known, is a powerful example of standing by one's convictions, even when the cost is high. His actions demonstrate a profound commitment to following what he believed was right. The impact of his choices resonates through history, serving as a reminder of the complexities and challenges faced by those who seek to do what is right. The story encourages us to reflect on our own values and the lengths we would go to uphold them. What did you find most surprising about Ahimelech's story? Share your thoughts in the comments below, And consider watching another video on biblical figures or stories that offer deep insights into the complexities of their lives and choices.